6, a helping hand with your land.
Hey, Neil from Essex here. One of the most popular videos that we've actually done here over the last year is a video of a theft that we had occur at our Bendersville location. A bunch of guys came in at the night and stole one of our track loaders, loaded the machine up at about 2 o'clock in the morning, put it in the back of a trailer and tried to take off. We're really happy to be able to say that we got that machine back. The thieves, let's say, weren't the brightest, and we were able to recover that, but caused a lot of comments and stuff of people wondering why theft prevention measures for equipment aren't better than what they are. And I'm happy to be able to show you something today, actually. That machine that was stolen was a Kubota SVL 75. And there's some new stuff now that's starting here at the first of the year, has been released for these models now, that's going to improve not only theft and tracking and recovery, but machine diagnostics. As you can guess now, with attaching cell phones and data to just about everything, there is now this little modem that can be put in a lot of these different machines. What this modem can provide really varies depending on the machine that you have. So different equipment is going to have different levels of information and sophistication in its computer systems. And so if you have a machine like that SVL or the SSV skid steers or the KX excavators or the bigger M5, M6, M7 and larger tractors, those all have what's called CAN bus on them. They have a pretty modern diagnostic port on them. It's a similar technology to what's used in vehicles for the different computer systems inside of a machine or a vehicle in order to be able to talk to each other, and this modem is able to tap into that. So in the case of those more advanced machines like that SVL, you're able to pair this modem with a model specific wiring harness and get things like GPS locations, battery voltages, engine hours, the status of the engine, if it's running or not, the RPMs that it's at, the levels of your fuel and your DEF fluid if you have a DEF system, the operating temperatures of the machine, and interestingly enough, error codes. If your machine throws an error, you can pull the history of that and see the codes and stuff from your phone, which is generally where you're going to access this stuff. So it can come through to your phone through the myKubota app, which I'll show you here shortly, or you could choose to share that information with your dealerships as well, so we can actually peek in and keep an eye on your equipment if you would like us to. That is something you have to allow, not something that just simply happens by default. If you don't have one of those more modern machines that has CAN bus in it, this modem can still go into your machine. So I'm seeing wiring harnesses out there being offered for things like RTVs now. I see there's one for the BX series available that will still allow you to tuck this into that same machine. Now, even on a simplistic unit like that, without all the computers that you have on a fancy piece of equipment, this box can still give you GPS location, the ignition status, if that machine is running or not, how many hours are on it, and what your battery voltages are. Now, when you take this data, even on that simplistic machine, and say, what can you do with it from your phone? Obviously, the theft prevention is a very real thing that's very easy to see. You have that GPS location, you have dots on the map. You could do what's called geofencing, that puts a line around that machine and says, let me know, warn me if this machine leaves this geographic area. If that happens and you see that machine starting to move, you can take your phone and go and disable the starter and shut it off so that the machine can't even be run or started and continue to travel. So cool stuff that can happen, whether you have this advanced monitoring, the real deep dive diagnostic stuff, or just the simple positional dots on the map. There's neat stuff that can be done. I'm gonna pull out my phone here and show you what we have in this regard. So we have a rental fleet, and we have several machines that are out right now on rental for snow rentals. And so I'm gonna start up the screen recorder here on my phone and open up my Kubota app. Now when I bring the app up here, you're going to see I have 4 SSV skid loaders, and each one of those is going to show me the engine hours that are on the machine. It's reporting back the serial number to the app. can see the fuel level of each one of them and the battery voltages. Earlier here today, I got a little thing that popped up on my phone that said one of my machines was moving. It was traveling at a speed in excess of what it can drive itself, right? So it was being transported and moved between job sites. And I got that indication on my phone here when that was happening. If I take any one of these machines and click on it, I can get a little bit more details. And you can see at the top here, it says Kubota now Telematics. And this is one of those CAN bus enabled machines, so I can get things that go a little bit deeper, fuel and battery temperatures, hydraulic temps, and that kind of stuff. You see my next option down here is inhibit restart. If I click that button right there for disable starting, it won't allow that machine to be started again. Geofencing right here allows you to take that location of where the machine is at and draw a box around it and say, I want to know if the machine leaves this area, and it's going to start making noise and stuff on your phone if that happens. Fault code lookup. I don't have any active faults on the machine right now to be able to show you, but if that was the case, you'd be able to see error codes and a little bit of that diagnostic information. This one hasn't thrown anything yet. The myKubota app will work for anybody, not just those that have chosen to put this level of tracking and stuff onto your machine. Anybody's able to get into this section here for manuals, maintenance schedule, and warranty information. So just by downloading the app and adding your equipment to it, you can keep the owner's manuals and that kind of stuff for your machines right here on your phone and kind of have them at your fingertips. So I think it's cool. There's a lot of our customers have been asking for this kind of stuff for theft prevention for one, but I know some contractors and that kind of stuff too will use this information for job billings and that kind of stuff to know where their machines are, the hours that they're putting on them in every day. So there's a lot of use and demand for this kind of stuff. This thing can be retrofitted. It's going to be coming through as standard equipment on the new SVL 97. That's the biggest of the track loaders. One of these will come through on every one of those from the factory. But this can be refitted back onto a number of different current models now. Most of the stuff that I would say has been made in the last 4 or 5 years or so. These things are going to be available with one of these wiring harnesses to go on. Now, obviously, there's an expense to this, and this is the part that I find really the most impressive. You can buy this modem and this wiring harness for your machine for $6.99, and that includes 3 years of the data service for this thing. So $6.99 for 3 years, that's less than 20 bucks a month, including all the hardware and everything that you need in order to make this whole thing work. Now, if you continue past that 36 months of service, I'm guessing there's gonna be an ongoing charge at that point. They're not sharing exactly what that charge is going to be beyond there, but I would expect it to be a fairly reasonable amount if you're paying, just this in order to get started. It would have to be pretty nominal to continue beyond that. So cool technology. Neat the way that it can integrate into your phone. This is also compatible with fleet management systems. If you're a rental yard, rental operator, big equipment fleet, all of the communication that happens off of these boxes is using industry standard formats that will tie into your fleet management software as well. So cool stuff. And things that we're going to find use for ourselves. I mean, you can see we're rolling this out on our own rental fleet machines to be able to keep tabs on our equipment and see what's happening and know if there's trouble codes and that kind of stuff being thrown on machines. And we're going to continue to see more software built out using this data as well to help us help you and to be able to take care of our equipment better. So if you're interested in adding this to a piece of equipment, we're glad to help. This is stuff that we can box up and order for you. You add this thing, and basically by tying out your email address with the Kubota app is what marries the app to your equipment based upon the machinery, and the product registrations with your email address is what kind of makes the magic of tying all these things together. So if you have questions, we're glad to help, glad to hook you up with this stuff. If you're interested, you can reach us at 800-222-3373 or online at messix.com.